What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Everybody's Talking About It, the show where we talk about everything everybody's talking about. We are back, season 4, episode 9.
Whoa!
Right here.
We flying through this. Whoa!
We're going to talk about Black TV sitcoms.
Whoa!
And Black TV in general.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about the progression and the decline, most importantly, the decline of important Black TV shows.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about it. And I want y'all all to get into the discussion because I know I'm going to hear a lot of shit about that. So give it up for Charlie.
I'm back.
Hey.
Woo!
Hey.
Charlie with the cut.
The fresh cut. Simply Charlie, Instagram.
And the beautiful Rihanna is back. What's up, Reana?
Pretty in pink. I see
Thank you. You know pink is my favorite color, so you know.
And killing it. And
Thank
killing
you.
it.
Thank
And
you.
shout out to Kaliah, my cousin, the
Hi,
beautiful.
Mom.
What's up, girl?
Thank you. How
You
you
look like you ready to work out.
You know.
Okay.
Look like you ready to get physical. And shout out to E. Eternal is here. What's up, bro?
You know, living life.
You look like you living like
Living life.
motherfucker. What's up?
Yes.
But we're going to talk about Black TV sitcoms and about Black TV in general, the progression of it, and like I said, the decline of it. Because to me, I feel like Black TV, we are slowly but surely with certain TV shows getting back to what we grew to love as youngsters, as I like to call us at that time. Growing up on some of those pivotal shows because a lot of us didn't grow up in two-parent households, or some of us grew up with a step-parent, or some of us grew up with, a single mom, or, even if we did grow up with a two-parent household, it was just like we kind of learned a lot through TV and through those TV shows, whether it been Family Matters, or whether it been a Cosby Show, or Moesha, any of those shows that showed parenting or growing up in a way like that, or even a different world.
Yes.
And,
I'm glad you said that, because I'll spit that out.
Yeah, even those kind of shows where you kind of, for us, they went away to school. It kind of prepared us for what was to come. And we kind of are not experiencing that anymore when it comes to Black television, because a lot of those shows are usually now geared into drugs, sex, money.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And that's what's popping right now. Like P-Valley, Power. Those are like the top Black shows right now. But shout out to Philly's own Quinta fucking Brunson.
She got all the money. She can buy large.
Quinta Brunson for creating Abbott Elementary and putting us back.
Great show.
We are here. We are here.
For me,
You, sis, are a genius. I literally hope. Yes, and shout out, that show is, Janae Latrice has been on this show as a host, as a guest. That show is inspired by her mother, Mrs. Abbott, Mrs. Joyce Abbott, who was one of Quinta's teachers at that time and inspired that show. Shout out to y'all. Like, y'all have really created amazing Black television shows. And shout out to your Emmy nominations.
Yes.
Shirley Ralph has been in the game for over 40 years and just got her first Emmy nomination.
That's great.
Tyler James Williams, who we've known as Chris on Everybody Hates Chris, Emmy nominated. Quinta Brunson, Janelle James, who plays the principal. Shout out to y'all. Y'all have literally opened a door for all of us, man.
Yes.
That is literally important to us.
Love it.
and what I love about that show is because I used to work in the school district, it was so authentic.
It's so authentic.
So I'm sitting there like, that's how we feel about like
all of those moments,
support systems and
and
everything.
then she opened the door. And what I can honestly say that is not only is she from Philly, but she based the show in Philadelphia and made it that important. I pray to God that you see this video, Quinta, this episode, because you are deserving of every flower that you are getting right now.
Yes.
I think that the show will probably. the Emmys will probably come on before this episode will air, and if it does, we are rooting for you.
Yes.
If you won, congratulations.
Well deserved.
And that's it.
Yes.
Because And what about y'all? Any shows that kind of shaped who you were?
A Different World definitely did.
A Different World.
Hands down, definitely
That was a
did.
good show, yeah.
My
It was.
dad used to watch that with me, and that's one of the reasons. Him as well as the actual show is one of the reasons why I went to a HBCU for grade. Like, period. It was just like, it was everything to me. Like, you get to see like who you are, like who you become, you know, all these different jobs or employment opportunities that we don't normally see all of the time as black kids. Like, you don't, like, you just don't see it. So it was black professors, black doctors, black lawyers, just everything. It was everything. I love that show. I still watch it to this day.
It was. Charlie?
You gotta find it.
I know some people might not like it, but I've always loved the Cosby Show. And when I'm at work, I work at the airport, and they play that song when they lip sung to Rudy
Night and Day.
Baby! And I be looking around, when that part come, I'm like, baby! Looking like Rudy.
That's one of those iconic, like, TV scenes.
But here's the
love
thing,
it.
the best is you said the word iconic. Most of the most iconic TV moments happened on a black TV show.
Yes, they did. Okay.
And we just don't talk about it enough. Like, even from the guest stars that used to come on the show, like
that's what I
Biggie
used to
being
love.
on Martin, and like
Snoop
being on
Steve Harvey.
and then all the guests, even DMX being on Moesha, and like just everybody, like just the things that would come.
It was the culture.
It was the culture.
Yeah.
And
Oh
they
my
would come on and
God,
DMX
I
was
remember
gonna have
that.
Mary J. Blige came on the
Yeah.
show. It was just to know that we had our artists, our people.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard when I watched Sister Sister and they
Sister
did.
You took my show. You
And
took my show. I'm gonna tell you why.
And I'm gonna go there. But I remember Mace, Maya, and them
Take
performing
me
Take Me
there.
There.
I want to
Yes.
go there. That
When
was
Sister,
it did.
and I was just like, those moments you'll always fucking remember of why you fell in love with songs and stuff. Like, it's just moments. It's just those moments.
Yeah.
So why was Sister Sister your show?
Sister Sister was my show because I loved how it showed the difference in the black community. We had Ray and his daughter lived, and they were middle class, and then Lisa and you know, Lisa and her daughter, you know, coming from like the inner city. So like showing that it's different types of black people. Like I enjoy seeing things like that when we're not seen as a monolith. And even though, of course, we saw Ray is uptight and Lisa is much more loose, and then the daughters go to opposite. I just enjoy Sister Sister, and then like they just got to be teenage girls rather than black teenage girls. You know what I mean? They just got to live and be fun and do the stuff that teenage girls do and get in trouble for and all those type of things, but it still never lost who they were.
Yeah.
So I used to love that show. I saw myself a lot.
And
in
that was a great show. That was a
It
great
was
show.
really good
And
show.
shout out to Tia and Tamara being like,
They still doing
these,
it.
not even just because they're doing things, they never had any like scandals,
At all.
anything. They kept a
Kept it
really
clean.
good image
Kept it clean.
for all these years. They are wives and
Mothers.
mothers.
Didn't they have a black mama?
Yep.
Yeah, they got a black,
Black mama.
They have a black mama
And then the white dad.
and a white dad.
White
Yes,
dad.
it
That's
is.
why.
That's why.
Black mom ain't black. Black mom said, I'm gonna tear that
She
ass
not
up.
playing.
Okay.
But they really did, and they always, presented themselves as ladies.
Yeah.
And it was good representation
Twitches.
on screen and off screen.
I love Twitches.
Shout out to you guys.
17 again was my
Tia Mari Hardrick and Tamara Mari Housley. And shout out to E, what about you?
For me, it's two. I'm gonna go Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Whoa!
I'm gonna go Martin.
Oh, you're gonna hate me about that. I don't think Martin is funny.
What?
Oh, I don't.
Oh,
Ooh.
damn.
You're
Take my
not the
black
first
card.
person who says that.
I heard that
Take my
before.
black card. I don't think he's funny. I don't think it's funny. There has been moments, but obviously I'm like, the funniest moment was for me is when they was fighting that raccoon or whatever.
Chilligan's
That's
Island.
it.
What about the Harlem Nights one when they saw his
To
CD
me,
player was
Martin,
missing? He
yo,
went
to
around with the
me-
fake dog.
Fake dog. Let me just
Bro, Martin, listen, let me
he
tell you this.
He said no.
Shout out to
He
Martin.
He said no.
Shout out to Martin Lawrence for creating something.
That's great. But
Let me tell you something.
No, not
Martin is probably, I'm not even gonna lie to you, out of the Black sitcoms, probably one of the most iconic shows. Just because of
Look
the
how many
risk.
characters
Not that's what I was just about to
Yeah, he
say.
does.
And here's the thing,
Yes.
just because of the risk that he took with that show,
Yeah.
it is so hard to.
And he's like a physical, like
Yes,
a
I
physical
love it.
comedian.
Not afraid to like just go for
Like
it.
he was one of the.
And that show is
Iconic.
very written. No, but I'm saying.
But
that
I'm
show
glad
is
that
very-
you can admit that, like even though
Yeah,
you know
I
you
know
the
it's
person on that
iconic,
show,
but for me,
but
it
you
just
can-
doesn't do it for me.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know
you
it.
get your
To be
personal.
like, oh, he said this. It's like,
Every
Oh, no, I can
episode,
pull more.
Dragonfly. Oh man.
Yeah, the characters.
Yeah.
Practicing your art, you'll be fine in the dark.
Oh my god.
Shanae will always be my favorite.
Shanae is an iconic character. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
It was just like,
It
it would
was-
just be the moments that Shanae would have, like, kid.
Oh my
You know what I'm
goodness.
saying?
Oh my goodness. I hate it.
And my man was
Let me talk about the underrated ones, though, that people
What
don't,
is it?
like, In the House. Where
I
In the
ride
House.
in the
My brother
house.
and me.
was
My
good.
brother-
My brother and me.
My
was a
brother
good
and me.
show.
All that
I've
stuff.
never
Hanging with
seen
Mr.
that
Cooper.
Hold on. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Living Single.
That's a good
I
one.
like that.
Hold
That's
on.
a good one.
That show
Tragic,
was
but-
literally ripped off.
It was.
That
They
happens a lot.
stole that
Tragic.
show
And
and
made
made a white Emmy Award winning show that ran for like 12 seasons and paid their
10.
actors
$1 million.
and made $1 million an episode, and you literally had the exact mockery show.
Y'all gonna be mad at me. I love that show.
A lot of people like Friends.
I mean,
Oh my god. I can watch. I know
hey.
every episode.
It was
I
shoved
know
down.
And the funny thing about Friends, and the one thing,
I'm sorry. I love it.
and
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay, but
Yeah.
now you can say thank you.
No. Living Single. I love Living
Thank
Single
you.
too.
love
Listen,
phone.
Thank you,
I do
thank
love
you,
it. Thank you, Living
Listen,
Single.
Thank you, Yvette. Thank you, Yvette
Thank you.
Lee Bowser,
Thank you.
for writing and creating a show that you did to give something for the white people to steal yet again,
They did steal it, but I love it. I'm sorry.
and made the exact mockery of that show.
I'm sorry.
And not only that, intentionally stole their time slot on a different network. That was
I
a
know.
more-
I know that. I just like the show. It's hilarious.
I mean,
watching.
unfortunately, it's a lot of.
Like,
Unfortunately, it's a lot of black art.
TikTok got it.
You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it's a lot of black art, and they turn it. They whitewash it to make it
They
more
do.
palatable,
I'm
to
sorry.
make it mainstream,
But it's
and it
not
sucks that. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I'm not saying it's not right because
It's
Living
not.
Single only lasted for 5 seasons. Friends lasted for 10, and of course, we all know.
And not only just that, got higher pay.
Yeah.
And then were
They
also
did, but
recognized
they stuck
by the
together,
Hollywood Foreign Press for awards.
Yeah.
And for a show that had already been created, and Living Single was not a ghetto show by far.
No.
By
It
far.
was good. I
Friends
enjoyed
was
it.
Far.
Gloria Cow was an
Iconic. They were iconic characters.
And I'm so glad,
graduates and
Bree, I'm so
all that.
glad that you said that because that was one of the many shows that showed six independent black people
Yeah.
who were not like drug dealers. They
Right,
weren't poor.
yeah.
Everybody was employed. Nobody
Right, yeah.
was. Well, Regine
I
was
like
up and
it.
down,
Like it.
but Regine
Yeah.
came.
Yeah.
She
Regine
was a
came.
contract worker.
Regine was a contract worker. She did.
My girl was trying to marry up.
Okay.
And she came. She had a couple of dollars from family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
She was a little bougie.
But that, and then not because I'm biased, y'all. This is not because I'm biased.
Okay. All right.
But
Talk to
this
me.
is
Maybe you are, you
because
said
no,
it.
I'm not.
Okay.
But this is because when before I entered high school, I always wanted to go to Crenshaw High. So shout out to Moesha because that show was so
was toxic.
and
though.
it was a
Moesha
toxic.
Ooh.
It was a toxic show.
For watching it when I was younger, it was
But
good.
we're going to high school.
I even went back.
But
I
listen,
even went back.
I had a preconceived notion of how high school was going to be.
Right.
Like you just think like you about to go to the dinner after school, you about to fuck with your friends, you fucking with all the parties on the weekends,
Right, okay.
you sneaking out the house, all your friends, like.
She was so bad.
But here's the thing.
Moesha was just.
No, but
she
not
was-
even just
a
her.
brat.
Not even
They
just
was
her.
like a typical
They had
teenager.
I was about to say she was a typical teenager, but they had a bad friend circle. They all were bad friends. They all were terrible friends. Like Kim would tell all the business that she saw at their house, and then they would talk about her weight. They would talk about how skinny the other one was, and she didn't have no money. So they were not good friends overall.
The biggest thing when her dad gave her a car and she was so ungrateful.
Yeah.
We not like that.
They gave her the
I wish my daddy would have given me a goddamn car. when I was growing up.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was there. I literally was there.
I wish you gave me a card
I took
because
my mom to hell for a prom suit.
Okay.
It was a
That's
prom.
different.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. Because I did, because it was the way I handled it, and I apologize to my mom at that time. At that time, I did too, because
she didn't apologize.
Because the suit was $600. It was a $600
Damn.
Woo! And she said that she did. She told me up. She said, "Mar, I cannot afford this suit," and I literally was just like, "Well, I kind of don't care. I just kind of don't care, but this is the one."
That's different than what she did. He bought her.
And I apologize for that, but I've been there. Like that's why I said. That's why I agree with Reed. It was typical. It's typical teenage shit. Like, you don't know the teenager that, you say that now because you're coming from your point of view.
Okay.
But it's like a different situation when you look at it from how certain teenagers may have been raised.
Yeah.
Like, you might look at, like, even if you watch the show, like, it's not a black show, but like Clueless. Like, those are like kids that came from a different section of the world, so they had a different expectation on life.
Right.
Like, you knew for a fact, like, no. Like, what do you mean no? Like, that's what I mean. That's how her perception is. You like her world. This is why I say how those shows kind of shape our lives too. Because you kind of have a different world. If your dad marries somebody else, now stepmom has a different view of how a child should be raised. So where you used to your dad might saying yes to certain things, and stepmom like, hey, maybe you want to consider. Maybe you want to consider.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, don't maybe. Yeah, I know you would know. Maybe you should consider what you say yes to. And then now it's like, wait, what do you mean no? How the fuck do you mean no? Like, and you're not used to hearing the word no. But since daddy done married somebody else, you got to deal with the word no.
I feel like that was for me. Was that for me or it wasn't for me? Or I'm just being
No, it wasn't, but that was. And this is what this episode is about, how black people, how our lives kind of reflect these shows.
But
When you start looking at it.
Yeah, but even like
older
to get back
good times. Good times.
Good times.
Okay. They was too good times.
They were good.
And I don't like it.
You're looking at the time. The era.
Like, you gotta look at the era.
I know.
And that was pretty iconic.
So wait, my cousin used to say that like she didn't like watching Good Times because she was like, they're so poor that it hurts. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're you know, they're black people, they're going through stuff. But watching it as an adult is just like it is rather painful to watch, and then it's like, well, it seemed like as soon as it was getting better, you know, it got a little
damn.
You know, the father character dies, and but
that was his choice.
That was his choice because he wanted to leave the show because he felt like the JJ character was getting real was real coonish.
Yeah, it was.
But of course, that's what made the ratings go. That's what everybody loves.
Sometimes you need it.
So you know, the father chose to leave. But yeah, that show, they were poor where it hurted, and like watching it, I'm just like, I don't want to watch this.
But the reason why those shows are so important is because that was what.
Yeah, that's what people were going
through. What the reality was at that time period.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say for all black people because as you can see, to counteract that, we had the Jeffersons. Right. You know, who were moving on up. You know what I mean? And they had a maid, Florence, and all of that.
Business owner.
But what about shows that, like, I notice a lot of the times with black shows, they don't get, a lot of black shows just get clipped and don't get the proper send-off that
I agree.
Half and half.
Wayans Brothers.
Moesha.
Girlfriend.
Yes.
Moesha left at a bad cliffhanger. Who else didn't get a good Girlfriend's got a good one.
No, the fuck they didn't.
What happened at
the last episode of Girlfriend?
And which one didn't come back?
Yeah, I'm gonna say was Joan. She went to her boyfriend's school because she was talking to the army guy, and she got a letter from him, and she went to open the letter to read to the class, and that's it.
Right.
That was it. That was the show.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it back to a good.
I rewatched Girlfriend.
Nickelodeon Black TV show.
My brother.
Come and let's play together in
What's
the West Sunday weather. Let's all go to Gala Gala Island. Gala. Binya. Y'all don't know that? The yellow song?
We do. And here we go. Charlie.
I love that show. I'm sorry.
Charlie, what you did was you took us too far back. Ain't nobody said, we said black sitcom.
I'm 33. It was a sitcom. Nickelodeon. I was an original Nickelodeon kid, and that's what I watched. Gala with the yellow frog with the orange spot. Binya. That's what we're going to do.
But then, so we had.
I'm just saying.
So then that fast forward to us. to a couple years where Black TV kind of fell off.
It did.
I think where we had like our last couple shows that was on was like Eve.
That was bring that to Netflix. Bring that to Netflix.
But no, I still wrote one-on-one with that kind of late Moesha Parker's time.
Yeah, that was a
The Parkers.
The Parkers.
But the reason why I say Eve was different because that kind of came at the turn of like where no other black shows was really on.
I like that Eve was our own.
And it was promoting her business too.
Yeah. And then who else was on at that time? It was like Eve, and then the game started around that time.
Yeah.
And then that went off. I like the game though,
Yeah,
but that wasn't really like
the original game.
I feel you.
I haven't watched it.
I never watched the one when they went to BET.
And then we just disappeared. And then we disappeared, and then now here we are years later, and then you get shows like Empire.
But you gotta think about the Carmichaels. Y'all ever watch the Carmichaels?
But here's the thing:
it was hilarious.
those shows, they didn't hang on. And we don't know, like, it's not only
the
that.
Upshaws,
Whoopi had a
Marlon Wayans.
Whoopi had a sitcom. Well, the Upshaws and stuff is now. I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about the turn of the time where we disappeared, and where when we started to come back. It was like
it was more
different.
reality TV.
It was trash.
It was more
in that base, it was like the Love and Hip Hop.
And then when we did come back, we came back on an off message where it's kind of like we start. Yeah, we might be in high-profile jobs and stuff, but we started that off of a drug business.
Yeah.
Or we stole it from somebody and we took the money and we had to kill somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Or we had to, work. So it's just like, what the fuck happened to TV all of a sudden?
Scandal. I'm sorry.
But Scandal, I'm not gonna qualify that. That was a
black
white
show
that was just held by a black woman. That's the same thing with How to Get Away with Murder. Those are not black shows. They were just held by a black lead. But Blackish has came. I really wasn't a fan of Blackish.
I loved it. I cried in the season.
Thank you, Maurice. I am not a fan of Blackish.
Here's the thing.
You're not a fan of nothing.
I'm a fan of a lot of things.
The reason why I'm not a fan of Blackish is because I'm not a fan of Anthony Anderson's comedy style.
Me either.
That's why I don't like Blackish. But I feel like you have to. Those shows did open up a window.
Okay.
To.
Go ahead. I got.
No, what you about to say?
No, it's pertaining. Finish. Open up a window, and I want you to say the rest.
Like I was just saying, they opened up a window to now helming better shows of that nature because now certain shows are. I started to notice that BET Plus is kind of bringing black sitcoms, but in a way that I don't like this Miss Pat show. I'm not really fucking feeling that.
Can't stand. She cursed too damn much.
She does.
She said the F word.
And then somebody said something about this is how black family is raised. I said my mother ain't never cussed at me like that.
Not like that. That F word. I was like, I'm appalled.
Yeah, she has cussed at me, but she ain't never talked to me like that.
My mom is not a lady of the church, and she don't curse me like that.
My mom and dad curse, but the way she be talking,
like my mom,
it was like, I don't like it. I don't like that narrative that they give. I don't like
it. My parents don't curse.
And it's just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Did y'all watch Netflix, The Upshaws? That's pretty good.
Yeah, The Upshaws is good. I like that show. That show is pretty good.
Yeah, season 2.
That's
Mike Epps show.
Yes, that's pretty good.
He left, he left Surviving was to do Uncle Buck, and that got canceled.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the black shows did not survive. It was those Empires and Stars and all those shows kind of.
The other one is pretty good.
Brought black TV back to where people were now interested in seeing black leads again, like The Chi and all of those shows. Like Tyler Perry doesn't count specifically because Tyler Perry has his own lane of TV. Like he's not really mentioned in the conversation when it comes to mainstream black TV because he has his own little lane. Whereas like you go stream him, like you stream him because he has a fan base. So you'll go search for his shit. That's not something that your newly fan will go stumble upon and go, oh my God, a new Tyler Perry show. No, he has like a specific audience that he targets that are his fan base. Now you have people that literally might tune into a new black show and be like, okay, this has an African American lead I'm filmed with, like Everybody Hates Chris and stuff. Had these, and like I said,
Black Lightning was pretty good.
I love seeing the foray.
It was like
black sci-fi.
Now, black sci-fi is that went to Lovecraft Country. That was the black sci-fi show to keep because they wasn't ready for it. That was a lane that white people wanted to stay in. You can't have it. they don't want us to have that lane. Sci-fi is all they have left. Because we have music.
But even still, like, our reception to anything that's different from that stereotypical narrative too. Because like I remember speaking of Blackish, you know, the creator of Blackish, she did that show for Netflix called Black.
It's a terrible show. Black as fuck. It was a terrible show.
Oh my
I thought it was terrible.
A couple of,
and Dear White People.
Dear White People, Dear White People, I liked the movie version, but I did not like the show.
I don't like the show.
It was amazing. The movie was
terrible. The movie was good. The TV show was like,
it's hard. So Eternal, I want to ask you because this is coming from somebody who's acting. If you could be cast in one of these shows, which show would you have liked to be?
I would like you talking about way back.
No, right now, a current show.
I would like to do The Shy. I can see myself playing the character in The Shy.
Shout out to King Bird. That was good. I fell off, but that's a good show.
Yeah.
It's a really good. I fell off, but it's a really good show.
I like the narrative that they push. They try to push positivity in such a chaotic city or whatever. They try to bring positivity means that like you got organizations trying to bring about peace and stop the violence. They talk about current stuff that's going on. So I like the show.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I would do an episode of Power. I would love to be on Power.
I hate that.
Which one?
Which
I fell off. I fell off. I couldn't do it anymore.
Because you got power.
To be honest with you,
I'm not a hood person, so that hood stuff I'll be like,
To be honest with you, it wouldn't matter. And then for me, I like intricate characters. Like I always found myself like intrigued with that. Like somebody that's layered as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you know me. Like, I literally like to unpack a lot of shit. Like, I like to be presented as one way, but then next you get up in there and it's like, oh, dang. I ain't know that all this was coming. You know, you've been to a couple of my shows, the shit that I do. Like, I like that kind of shit. I like that kind of shit. I like that kind of, like, oh, shit, I ain't know you was going to get there with it. You know, at some shows I did, I played a parent, just a little young thug who turned out to be a rapist. You know what I mean? Like, you play layers, and it gets deep. Yeah. And I say, like, that's what I like. I like to be that. I like to be somewhere that's, like, unexpected. I don't want to be somebody that surface shit. I like that, and I think Power creates that kind of universe for people because you're presented one way, it's never ending, and you're presented to them as one way, and then all of a sudden it's like, the whole time, you motherfucker been like this, and it's like,
But that also highlights the actor's ability to bring that out. Yeah. Because you're a bad actor, man. It's not
it's terrible. It's not like, it's been a couple of bad actors on Power. Lala.
Miss Anthony.
Lala. And y'all keep casting her in roles, Lala. She gets a movie every now and then.
Mar.Jayy, I'm sorry.
Mar.Jayy is a terrible.
Hey, I love her like that. Don't talk about Don't talk about her like that.
I said, get her off the stage.
Mar.Jayy is terrible.
She's horrible. I love you.
Hey, Mama, I'm sorry, Mama.
Horrible.
But I'm still gonna go see you though in concert.
I love me some Mar.Jayy. But let me tell you, even Beyonce, terrible.
You will not come between me and my child. Whatever that.
I don't want to veer off.
Don't kill us.
Listen, I don't want to veer off. Because I just want to end this off too. What are some shows that we wish would have carried on a little longer? You give it to me real quick.
Now it might not be as popular, but I kind of was fucking with Star.
Me too.
Everybody loved that.
Because the way it ended, I was like, ooh, what's about to happen next? It's done.
And they shot my baby on that show. They shot my baby girl on that show.
It was not my baby girl.
They shot my baby girl. They see my baby. They just shot her.
They
shot my baby.
Everybody.
Not they shot my baby girl.
They shot my baby girl. They shot my Cassie. They shot my Cassie baby girl.
Hey.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to go with Love Is. That was on TV.
That one too. One season.
And that was because the writer of the show, he came under fire for some sexual assault shit.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a husband and wife team that wrote it, and then the husband, he came under fire for some cheating, scandal, sexual assault shit. And
so like the actual character?
So it was based on that.
Mara Brown got killed, her husband.
Selena killed. He got accused of something.
Yes,
So for real? Wow.
Yeah. Mind you, the show is based on them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he got accused of some
So-
bad stuff, and then she left Mara Brock left him.
I
So
never
my-
knew
So
that.
that's why the show ended after one
She's
season.
beautiful, by the way.
She is.
Beautiful, by the way.
But yeah, I wish that I love, and people used to be like, this show was boring. It's like, no, it's just not a bunch of ghetto ass shit. It was ghetto enough that he didn't want to, he didn't want to write, and he had a kid. That's another story from that.
So-
But I do wish that show went on longer.
Yeah. Mine's, I don't have a show that I really wish would have gone on longer. I just hope that all of these shows get reunion specials like Martin and Fresh Prince got. It's so good to see everybody in the same room again, mending old wounds, talking about, behind the scenes stuff. I just love it. It's so good to see. And then even if people are not here no more, they memorialize people on the cast that are no longer there. It's just good to see it because while we're here, we have to fucking love on each other, because one thing about these black actors, a lot of times we see them on these sitcoms and we never fucking see them again. We never get a chance to see them again. You might see one person from the show take off and their career gets big, and the rest of the cast, they just never do anything in acting, or they probably do, TV One movies or, things like that. Not saying it's bad because you're working, at least you're living, but it's just not as big as what it could be. So it is good to see them do these reunion shows and stuff.
Just take the last little bit. Here, take that too.
Marie, what about you? We wrapping it up.
I'm going to stick with my original answer and say A Different World. I really wish that it would have been a lot longer.
Would you like to see a reboot of that?
I would.
I would love to see.
It would be doable.
I would love to see a new
It would
age
be
version of A
doable.
Different World.
Because that shaped so many lives, and the enrollment rates increased so much for people that were going into college.
I think that would be good. Yeah,
I'm going to stick with
That would be cool.
yeah, I like that.
But I do want to shout out one show we didn't mention. The Bernie Mac show.
R.I.P. Bernie Mac.
We gotta get right. That's
Wait,
it.
my last one. I'm sorry, it might be corny, but I love Half and Half. It just ended. Not that. I wish it was fun. I like high comedy. That's just me. I'm
Through the
corny.
journey of discovery.
I love that theme song.
Shout out to y'all. We will see y'all next week. We're gonna be talking
Ain't
about
nobody
bad
drink but
habits.
me.
We talking about
Look at
it.
that cup.
We'll see it. We'll see y'all next week. We about to do this right. Shout out to y'all.